Hi, I'm here to give my book talk over Please Ignore Vera Dietz by A.S. King. So, in the book, Please Ignore Vera Dietz, you go on a wild escapade through many characters' points of views. You see situations through Vera, her recovering alcoholic father named Ken, her dead best friend Charlie, and the pagoda, a place where everyone in this small town hangs out. In the beginning of the book, you find out that Charlie has passed away, and throughout the whole novel, you're unraveling the how and why Charlie is dead. Was it because he was hanging around, or did it have to do with the way he was making his money? With Charlie supposedly dead and his name in the gutter, it's up to Vera to uncover the truth and set all the facts straight. But can she accomplish the task? The genres for this book are romance and tragedy. The romance factoring in because from a young age, Vera and Charlie both loved each other. But as they got older, Charlie found it harder for him to communicate his feelings for her. Thinking that she was too good for him, with her family life on the other side of the spectrum and being compared to his. Vera's family life including caring parents, and Charlie's home life with an abusive, misogynistic father. The tragedy part plays with the obvious death of Charlie, and Vera being left heartbroken with the months leading up to his death. Those months filled with hatred towards Charlie, with the new groups of friends he was spending more and more of his time with. Slowly and painfully, their relationship became unhinged because of Charlie becoming infatuated with a girl named Jenny, who he thought was an easy lay. My important passage/quote that I chose from the book was, "So when I got home from school, and there were a dozen roses for me on the kitchen table, I tried my best not to be cynical. Dad had put a note from him that said, 'Back at 5. I opened the card, and Charlie's messy handwriting wrote, 'Let's go out tonight. I'll pick you up at 8. Love, Charlie.'" The importance of this passage is because it's an Easter egg for later on in the book. You later find out that on that Valentine's Day, Charlie was planning to ask Vera to be his girlfriend. But with that in mind, he instead took her to the pagoda where a bunch of detention heads, his new group, were hanging out, drinking, and doing drugs. On that night, he started to become more and more distant from Vera and more distant from who he used to be. This was a major turning point in the book for both Charlie and Vera. My rating of the book would have to be 4 out of 5 because the author never went into depth about how Charlie died. Instead of making it the focal point of the book, or even the climax, his death is explained in about 1 or 2 paragraphs, and even those 2 paragraphs were vague on exactly what happened. But the rest of the book, the plot, and the dynamics between the characters, I really enjoyed. I also enjoyed the different perspectives through all the different characters, including all their different opinions on the same situations, rather than just having Vera's point of view. One word that I would use to describe this book is moiety, with Vera using it as a word to describe her and Charlie's unspoken love. The definition of moiety being each of 2 parts in which one thing is or can be divided. Because Charlie and Vera are and were divided, they were separated before and obviously after his death. The rift created between them before his death is now being filled with his forthcoming about his devotion for Vera, with her finding his napkin letters that he left her. My best friend in the book would have to be Vera because of how invisible she feels and enjoys being. Also noted as a kid that floats through the hallways in school rather than being someone that stands out and speaks up. Basically, she is happy with not being the center of attention. I find that we both have that in common. And also, we both have broken up families with a lost parent not living with them anymore, but rather their ghost. And with that ghost comes with the scared confrontations that we all tend to avoid. The character that would be my enemy is Charlie. Hearing the way he treated Vera after he met Jenny, you'd want to punch him in the face. He leaked private information to Vera's, telling everyone at school that her mother had been a stripper, which even though true, Vera never spilled the secret about his abusive father. He also threw literal crap at her at the pagoda when she accidentally ran into him in the detention heads. It crushed me every time he did something like that, something vicious and mean. To love someone and then to treat them like that, I don't know how Vera tolerated it, because I wouldn't have been able to. Yes, the book did fulfill my expectations, and may have even overachieved a little bit for some parts and aspects. I overall thoroughly enjoyed the book and the writing style that the author chose to use. I was a little disappointed about the way the author jumped over the explanation of Charlie's death, but everything else about the book enticed me and made me want to read more and more until I finished the book, and I finished it quite quickly. The main theme the author focused on establishing was how Vera didn't have the desire to be the center of attention. She didn't want to be seen. The book title being Please Ignore Vera Dietz, because she honestly wanted to be ignored. With her being the main voice in the book, in school life she was still one of the quiet ones, mainly just keeping to herself, especially without Charlie there. And with her growing up as an only child, she was raised on the more mute side of society. The most important scene is when Vera finds the box in the oak tree at the pagoda, because in that box are the napkins that Charlie wrote his last messages on for her. And in those napkins he explained that he really did love her, and that he was sorry for everything that went down. Charlie said, "I wish we could go back in time and climb trees together again. I love you, Vera. I always will." The type of reader that would enjoy this book could be a variety of people. If anyone enjoys a bit of romance and a touch of mystery, the age group for this book, I would have to say, would either be preteens, teenagers, or younger adults. I don't think that the book would be suitable for kids younger than preteens because of how much drinking and driving goes on, and talking about alcoholism and sex and drugs. But otherwise, I think the book is amazing, and that if you have the spare time, you should read it. So that is my book talk for Please Ignore Vera Dietz. I personally love the book, and I hope that with this book talk, you're enticed to read it. Thank you.